In the ring, the boxing ring. The body, my black body, is a living, breathing thing struggling to be free. It was that freedom dance that defied the whip. It was that freedom dance that defied the rape. The story of Tom Molineaux is really about someone literally fighting their way out of slavery. So we know that he came from Georgetown in Virginia, and he was on a plantation there. And the particular plantation, as others did, they did some prize fighting, and he literally fought his way up the plantation, so he won a fight. And of course, sometimes when you win, people look up to you, so there becomes this thing of a kind of adulation, leadership, perhaps insurrectionary element. So the thing is that he can't stay anymore. So he's given his freedom. It was that freedom dance that told the master that this body and soul is mine, and I can and I shall break free of whatever you put on me. My body, my mind, my soul shall be slave to no one. My fight, inside and outside the ring, is to be the master of my own destiny. I shall fight to live and live to fight. And in that process, I shall be reborn as a new African, an African freed from the predators who make fame and fortune by hunting for and feeding off the black. My black skin. Tom Molineaux in 1810, he fought someone called Tom Cribb for the heavyweight championship of Britain. On 10th December 1810, I stand face to face with Tom Cribb. Tom Cribb is a pale-bodied white man with fixed brown eyes that look at you, but past you. He nods his head as he walks forward. I see slide balling past on the top of the thick black hair. Tom Cribb had reigned undefeated for the past 2 years. He was the fighting legend, and I was the black sensation. As we reach the black quarter, someone cries out, "Salute Tom Molineaux, the first black heavyweight champion boxer of Britain." Bill got up onto a wooden box to address the crowd, who working up to a querulous mood for ride and rebel. He say a thing that ringing him in mind for the rest of my days. He say that the world be turned upside down before a black can win the heavyweight championship of Britain. Given the kind of the racial politic and also the kind of rebellious mood of crowds at that point in time, just as Tom Cribb is on the cusp of defeat by Tom Molineaux, the cry goes up that he's a cheat, that he's fighting with weights in his hands and so on. The police arrive, some orders restored. But by the time the order's restored, of course there's a kind of severe exhaustion, disappointment and all the rest of it. So as the fight resumes, somehow the stuffing in the heart has been knocked in some way out of Tom Molineaux, and he goes on to lose. I tried to summon up the strength to set my mind and body to work, but I'm shot right through. And though I be there in body, the mind is somewhere else. I fight, but I does not fight. A good blow from Cribb sent me to the floor. My body is not tensed up for the blow. I hit the floor hard, bangs my head on the ground. Bill is urging me, get up. But I find I cannot. Something in me does not want to. So I lay there, like the wounded animal that I am, now broken in body as well as mind and spirit. A taste for glory turned bitter and sour. I lay there for what seemed like an eternity. I could not and did not want to get up. In some ways, he never recovers. So it's about, you know, fame, fortune, loss, kind of level of devastation, and, you know, trying but not triumphing. He fights crib again in real life but loses. And the reality is that he was never quite the same boxer after the first defeat. From that day to my world's end, I boxes for money, drink, and women. Galway is the place that I find rest, with people that warms but cannot heal my broken heart. My soul, laid low, now glows. I am trapped in the bitter embers of freedom that was once so bright, so certain, and so secure. What brought me to it was a kind of very specific period of my life. I was one of the people who was working on the what people call the Transatlantic Slavery Gallery in Liverpool, which now goes on the title of National Slavery Museum. And when you're in that world, you're in a very intense world of learning and thinking and reading, and I was writing here and there, and I became aware in terms of, I guess, looking at various kind of historical figures, that there was someone out there called Tom Molineaux. I started to think about the dramatic possibilities which had laid submerged within the body of the text. So the text has a lot of orality. One of the things I thought about was, in terms of the audio, was actually working with beatboxers to actually take the orality in the play to another level beyond the simple language, but also the exploration of sound and so on, and do it in that way. But the other thing I recognised within the play, there is lots of dance sequence. I call them dance sequence. Fighting is also to an extent dance, but the particular thing in the work is about the, if you like, the African traditions in terms of movement and dance, which to an extent are incorporated into the play. So, you know, whether someone's buzzing, whether they're doing capoeira or whatever it is, that sits inside the play, but it's been submerged. So I began to think to myself, one of the things I would really like to do with this is actually bring the dance out. The final thing I thought about doing as I revisited it, I always wanted to do it outside, because that's where people were. There were, you know, as part of my research, I found out where some of the places were that people were doing these fights in the fields near racecourses and so on. And these things are meant to be staged outside. They're in the raw. They're very visceral in some sense. They're very almost sensuous. They're violent and so on. I want to bring back, you know, the kind of the sense of the riotousness, the sense of the mayhem, the sense of the kind of crowd interactions. I've been really reimagining, if you like, the creative landscape in terms of what you could do with the Tom Molineaux. I'm now calling it the Tom Molineaux Project. Here in August, well, I would like to read the play as it stands. I'd like to talk about the play. I would like to see who is interested in engaging with the kind of the multi-layered, multi-stranded project that I'm now in the process of conceiving. So these things have to be done through partnership and collaboration. So it's really seeing, you know, who is interested and, if you like, who's up for it, who wants it to happen, who shares that kind of, if you like, scale of ambition, you know, perhaps boldly going where we haven't gone before. That is the kind of what I would like to do when I read here. It's a first step. I noticed then that Tom Molineaux, ready to take on the world, but the world was not ready for Tom Molineaux.